All right, 215-592-9494. So, all right, Dombrowski, the interview from yesterday, we're going to re-air it early in our show today, around 6:30, 6:35 today. So if you missed it yesterday, comprehensive deep dive with the Phillies executive vice, what is it? What the hell is it?
President of Baseball Operations.
President of Baseball Operations, Dave Dombrowski. That's up ahead in about a half an hour. One thing that stood out from yesterday's show, and we didn't discuss it too much, we had a poll, and then at the end of the show, we referenced the poll. The poll question was, has the Phillies offseason disappointed you? And it struck me that 69% of people said yes, it has. The Phillies offseason has disappointed 69% of people that responded on the poll. 31% said no. Now, count me amongst the no's. I'm not disappointed. And I want to tackle this issue today at 215-592-9494 on the phone lines and find out, essentially, are you disappointed by what the Phillies have done this offseason, yes or no? And then, of course, the follow-up, why or why not? I mean, I'm not at all. Now, has it been bonanza? No. Did I expect it to be bonanza? No. You know why? Because they got a lot of really good players. You know who needs a damn good offseason, meaning a lot of different stuff? Freaking Eagles do. I mean, what this Phillies basically did is said bye-bye to one of their own, Rhys Hoskins, and said stay to one of their own, Aaron Nola. That's about it. That's about all they did. They could afford that. They could do that because they got almost every position covered. Would I like to see the bench improved? Yes. Do I think they can still do that before the start of the season or at the trade deadline? Yes. Do I think they need to still do that with the bullpen? Yeah, to an extent, on both fronts, whether it's before the season or trade deadline. They're going to make the playoffs either way. But I look at the Phillies as a team that really it was kind of a stand pat, and I'm fine with that because they got good players. Eagles, totally different story. John, talk to me and your thoughts on that poll result. And again, I want to hear from everyone at 215-592-9494. I mean, to everyone listening right now, if you are of the mindset of the 69% of people that said they're disappointed in the Phillies offseason, come to the table here and tell us at 215-592-9494 why you're disappointed, or if you see it as I do, where you come down on that. John, where do you come down on this one?
I'm happy our team really is where it needs to be, and I have faith that Dave Dombrowski, if he discovers that the team needs more help, he'll get this team more help, plain and simple. Quiet doesn't mean inactive. He told us that yesterday. I love that quote. I'm very happy with things. I'm very happy with Nola returning. I'm hopeful for Wheeler and expectant that they're making him a priority because they told us yesterday that he is. He is all that. I'm happy for our team. They're really good. They didn't need much. We were quiet, but not for a lack of trying with the right guy, with Yamamoto. I like that we went so hard after the right guy.
I agree.
That means that we could go after someone else if he's the right guy. I hear that we need to add bullpen help because the loss of Kimbrel and so, he was the guy. But, Kerkering now feels like he's sort of slotted to come in there and have that opportunity. It feels like he's going to have that chance to dominate. Alvarado, he can dominate too. Jeff Hoffman last year, you should have gained a lot of faith in what he can do. Soto, Brogdon, it just feels like we're loaded and in a lot of areas that we're complaining about as fans. We're lamenting the center field situation with Johan Rojas. I'm super thrilled that we've got one of the premier athletes at that position in Major League Baseball and that he knows what he has to work on, that he's FaceTiming with Kevin Long, working on his swing day after day, and we're hearing that the results are really positive. This guy's going to be really, really improved this season. That's great for me. I'm excited to see how improved he's going to be. Yeah, we'll
see on that. I'll say this. So the Rojas thing, I'm okay with it. I'm not where John is in the thrilled category. But, tackling the Rojas versus Rhys Hoskins thing, I think the Phillies made the right decision.
Yeah, no question.
Let me be clear.
More athletic.
It hurt the heart. It hurt the heart because it made me sad. It made me sad to see Rhys go. But I can understand in a world where, who's going to have a better next 5 to 6 years? Probably Rojas. No, not definitely. Let me be clear. Rhys Hoskins is a damn good player. Rhys Hoskins probably have a better year this year, if I had to guess. But I get the argument for the Phillies to prioritize defense and speed and a little bit less lumbering out there and all that sort of stuff that Rhys represented. So I get it. I also get how he's $17 million cheaper and how that, and I know some people would say, well, why is that a consideration? I'll tell you why that's a consideration. Because there's only so much money the Phillies are going to spend. They're not going to spend $1 billion a year, okay? And I accept that as a fan. You know why? Because they're in the top 5 of baseball spending. So this isn't a scenario where they're cheap, but they do want to allocate resources in a proper manner. I respect the fact that holding that $17 million without giving it to Reese and having Rojas play for less than $1 million helps you, for instance, at the trade deadline if you want to acquire someone that's got a big contract. Sure as heck helps you on the Zach Wheeler front when it comes time for him to be a free agent. May have already helped you as it relates to re-signing Aaron Nola, which I thought was priority number 1. Now, let me be clear when I say re-signing Aaron Nola priority 1. What I mean by that is re-signing Nola or getting a pitcher of a similar level. That was the priority this offseason. You could not go into next October with Wheeler and then okay, I'm trying, Rangers my 2? Love Ranger, don't want him to be 2. The single biggest reason why the Phillies have succeeded in a lot of rounds in the postseason, yes, they haven't won the World Series, but in a lot of rounds in the last 2 Octobers, the number one reason, in all due respect to Bryce Harper's excellence, and he's been great, and a lot of other guys doing a really good job, the number one reason is the 1-2 punch in October of Wheeler and Nola. Wheeler and Nola. And they've maintained that. So now they might eat it 5 years from now, 4 years from now, if Nola starts declining. And eventually he will with a 7-year contract. But they have maintained this ship in a way that I thought was necessary, essential, and one for me as a fan. And again, we'll hear from you at 215-592-9494. I mean, honestly, John, makes me happy. And I was struck by 69% being, basically unhappy yesterday, disappointed.
We're such a talented team, and we're going to be bolstered by young talent that we're not even fully aware of yet, like Ryan Kirkring, guys like that. We have a team who has struggled coming out of the gates the last couple of years, a really talented team who's got a proactive approach to this season to come out of the gates faster. This very talented team that was so talented they really didn't need to do a whole bunch of adding this offseason now has a plan to start even faster than we did the last couple of years, because really that was the only place that you really need to improve majorly in the first half.
I will say that, so they say, though. I mean, they have to do it. You have to do it in order to do it. So we'll see when that time comes. But look, your chance today to weigh in on all this at 215-592-9494, John, as today's show is brought to us by.
Today's studio sponsor is the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. You're in the zone. New users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Bet Parks. You must be 21 and in PA, New Jersey, Ohio, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, Joe DeCamara, Jon Ritchie, your phone calls on this throughout the show. Also up ahead, of course, Dave Dombrowski, what he said to us yesterday. We'll get to that audio. We'll rock all your calls. Are you disappointed in the Phillies offseason? Yes or no? Why or why not? It's good to talk Phillies baseball. We need to talk Phillies baseball because it's, in my opinion, good for the heart when you see the 76ers doing what they're doing lately and knowing the way the Eagles season crashed and burned. Your thoughts on the Phils? Big day on them. Also big day for the Sixers. Trade deadline. We'll get into that reality and more up ahead next. Joe DeCamara and Jon Ritchie. It is 94 WIP.